I hate Venom sometimes. Actually, all the time. Guess it'd be like that. Mess up the cycle a bit. Yeah, the Missouri body. The custom swap? Honestly, I forgot to. Gotta be more careful. Oh, Shadow for P3 start is great. Also take there. Seemed like a decently fast one. Yep, 311. I suck with the blowpipe now. Maybe I should just go back to webweaver. BT2 boss count. Use the DPS calculator to see if maybe bringing anguish or DPS webweaver. Do a swarm kill though. Oh my god, the ranger is stuck in there too. It's doomed. Probably wasn't worth resetting, but I'm gonna reset for that. Definitely wasn't worth resetting. Let me rephrase that. Definitely wasn't worth it. Custom swap, was it? Custom menu swaps. Ah, here it is. Custom menu swaps. Am I blind? Do I have to enter in? I guess I have to enter it in myself. Let's read. Comment about this. Where was it? Oh, it wasn't a YouTube comment. Unfortunately, I'm still gonna click it, unfortunately. It's not that bad, though. Now let me do my DPS calculator. Let's see, if I am gonna be a web memer still, because I'm already mad that I'm not going fast enough with my blowpipe, skill issue of course, then would I have to be faster going anguish or Zara? Because Zara is more, anguish is +5 over fury, +5 range strength. Also, Zara is +2 only, but it's +18 over tormented. Just looking for that. Obviously, I assume that's anguish, but if it's the same thing, I might as well. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Legs. $32 max. Zara doesn't give a max. Definitely anguish. Okay. Yeah, seems about right. Probably giving a nice max to these chins too. Like, I'm still too lazy to deal with, thingy. Blowpipe right now. This is a decent compromise. Considering my last one was 3 minutes. I mean, I lost so many ticks. But when the exploding ones come out, it might not even matter, because those will take care of it for me anyway. I'm gonna miss my anguish switch. Not used to doing the switch like that. Yeah, monkey changes is next week. I am surprised that we're actually getting them before 2024. I was like dead serious when I said probably gonna get them in 2024. I'm surprised. I've been proven wrong. Oh, it's not dead. 1 HP. 1 HP. Look at these parallel guys, bro. Oh my, look at them. They're so in sync. Still trying to grief me, but that was an anomaly. Anomaly. Why did I shadow this guy? I want to redo the monkey room, I'll be honest. Just so I can get used to these switches. I mean, I just need to do these 4. It's not a big deal that I lose Tormented. Half-Master whack. It's pretty whack. Out of principle of learning new switches, I should do it. I don't think it's gonna make much of a difference, to be honest. Or maybe I'm at the point where the anguish also isn't mattering and I'd be better off getting something else, which also is probably true, like bringing in my pickaxe and not really banking it. Save a little bit of time. I don't know, we're at the point where there's not many good time saves. Blowpipe is good theoretically. Could save a lot of time, but I get tilted. But it would save a decent amount of time. And then pickaxe probably saves like 6 seconds. Pretty sure Eternal saves more actually, but I'm never bringing Eternals out of principle. Whatever. Stagnate. Don't change anything. Oh, we could do the little buckler strat actually. Buckler is hilarious for point farming and also just like one-shot everything in the room. Impute heart for melee scare. I melee them anyway, to be fair. I never trap, it's a thing. Recently I've been too lazy to swarm. A lot of work. Alright, fine, I'll do the rest of my mage switches because I'm not dealing any damage. I switched to Fang and it hits the lowest it can. Switch the lowest it can. Setting. Wait for BD on P2. I'm pretty sure Bone Dagger's better. No matter what. But it's not by much better. Very minimal. If you're not swarming, Bone Dagger is for sure better. If you are swarming, Bone Dagger is probably just minorly better, unless you count for the free hit with accursed sceptre, which I don't even know if you get, unless you wait until after the first dunk set. So it's kind of weird. I've been Venom'd anyway. Ah. I can't stand these rooms. No. I am playing so badly. I need to redo it until I am getting it. Because I can't have this be a long-term thing. I need to go back to doing like 3-minute runs. Not 3:30. No. Maybe unlucky, whatever, blah, 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 but like, no. Absolutely not. I'm not having that as my standard going to any raid. By principle, that's disgusting. We have standards around here. Just chin the ranger and hit. Nice. Not good, but I'll take it. It's better than my last ones. Not good at all, but it's better than my last ones. Fourth time in a row? Probably not. I just got scanned by that rock so bad. Oh, misclick. Gotta do an extra boulder. Oh shit, we procced. We actually have DPS. Dude, what am I doing? Please slow shadow. Oh, spared. I think I'd rather have the attack than... I'd rather have the attack than the accidental walk under them. I feel like if I had it on walk, I'd probably just accidentally die. It's funny, if I didn't do that boulder mishap, that would have been like a 305 room. Well, there is another time save I could consider, but I don't know how well I could utilize it because I don't really keep track. Maybe blue cares to tick fix because it's a 4-tick weapon, but that's really niche. I don't know the ticks of the dung special that well, and when it occurs. I do know like the whole max agile cap and all that stuff, but I don't know it that well enough to use blue carrots to like maybe squeeze in like 4 hits of blue carrots that might not even like matter. Really? Hit a 0? Did I roll a 0? Do I have to hit it while it's waking up? No, you don't have to wait longer. You can. I've done it while it's clickable. I wonder if it's because I waited too long because I was hitting the melee in. If that's a thing. Maybe my thrall hit it? Oh well, it is what it is. Yes, we can set up the agiles now. Point farming. So the agiles are all on my west side, right? So watch this. We're gonna dung west. We're gonna hit Kephri as usual. Then we're gonna slowly move east. That's where they're standing. On Kephri's southwest tile. I'm gonna wait until Kephri dungs us. Hitting both them and Kephri at the same time. And we're only gonna do it when she dungs us on the east. And now that we've cleared out the scarabs, for the final phase, she will now throw eggs at us, which is time she's not dunging us. Alter bringing overly draining? No. Not at all. It might be a mild DPS increase over Lightbearer, maybe. But the fact is that you're gonna want like Lightbearer for like P2 because you don't have overly draining and you're gonna DDS obviously. So it's not worth the extra slot by any means. 537. Didn't even hit my dagger. Yeah, it's like something extremely minuscule, so you might as well just have the light bearer. That might be one of the most efficient point farming methods I know. That's Kephri. The simultaneous chin with points with removing dung, and like this kind of does everything. Probably could have made it there. I should have done it and then smashed my pickaxe. Smashing my pickaxe also would have saved me a hit there. So it might have been like a 6-second save, which would have been pretty nice. It's actually a lot more than DPS specs. Surely procs there. And I mean to shadow it. Definitely procs there. When will you get your tangle route? Since you're watching someone who also went kind of a little dry on it, 65 mil at least, minimum. Because you can't have it before I got it. That's how the rule works. Shouldn't have asked me. I mean, now it's doomed. I went dry on it, now you have to go dry on it. I'm still hunting the thieving and the agility pets. I'm a little dry on those. Well, I'm not on rate, to be fair, because a lot of skilling pets are not on rate by 99. I went about 18 mil for agility, didn't get it yet. I'm at 21 mil for thieving without it. On the bright side, every time I go back to skilling, I usually find something, like a guide or something. 30 minutes of Relica, yeah. Herd is really fast. I'm kind of stubborn though, like I'm gonna definitely thieve like elves for it or something, even though it's not good for pet. Yeah, when you start doing the seaweeds, that's when you know you're down bad. Or the little berries. Start doing the berries in hopes, down bad. I was doing the Nightshade. I'll be honest, Nightshade got money. Not really, but gotta get that weapon poison, you know? I would like to have Venge for this room. It'd be nice. Like when it does range on Blood Barrage, I would Venge. That'd be nice. Avenge the range and block the blood barrage at the same time, preventing him from healing. Yo, Carlo. Thank you, man. Don't do me like that. Oh, I'm pissed. Anyway, of Ozani's, yeah, it's pretty nice. Tbow before 500 KC? At Chambers? Absolutely not. But you never know. You never know. See AJ. I forgot to thrall. Oh well. Oh my god. I believe I just did that. Well, I had a 1. Didn't proc. And my thrall procced it. Oh, there is one forbidden tech I can pull out. It's extremely forbidden. Of all the space I have. I don't think the range switches matter that much. Who takes damage in P4? 2023, you know? Quick Zebak mistake. That's it. D-Dart tips. There's one thing, actually. Any tips for duo setups? Bone Dagger is really good, both for Baba and Kephri. And then if you're ranging Zebak, it's good there too. Then, other than that, it's not really. There's nothing different from duo and solo. Maybe just there's nothing wrong with both of you guys having sceptre and maging it too. It's not that bad if you guys want to save some space. My bank layout, yeah, but the first tab is kind of messy right now. Could clean it up a bit. These are... This is my loot tab right now. Put the logs up there. I haven't cleaned it up in a while. That looks okay-ish. Then... yeah. Don't make me clean it up. It's gonna trigger like so much OCD. They're cheap now. This is my loot tab layout. I like colors. All purple. Green. Red. That's kind of weird though. And I like this. Black, but... it's weird because if I do it the other way, like, this kind of looks weird. You know? There's no gem here. Very awkward. I don't really have a filler for it. This yellow thing. Yeah, I need like a... I just need like a yellow gem here or something. Use like a lizardman fang, right? That's weird. So I was like, whatever. We'll figure it out some other time. I think it was like this. Yeah, this is what it was. Or messed around with it. These look kind of nice. Kind of like with the whole like pointy thing going on there. Food tab. Farming tab is very simple. Rune tab. Could be a bit better. The body runes, I mean, I only really use these body runes when I charge my Book of the Dead, so I just kind of buy them every time I need them. This is my like misc gear layout. I used to have a full set of graceful to match with all these guys, but I banked it recently. This is a gear tab layout. Could be better. Again, I haven't cleaned up the bank in like a year. I just kind of wing it. It should be here. The extra tech I was thinking about, Kephri. I think I already have it salted the chins anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I was like, I could venator the eggs. Like, that's just for point farming. But you guys both have Shadow, Juhis? If you guys both have Shadow, then yeah, you could, one person. Well, you guys should both bring Sceptre in case someone misses, but one's probably fine statistically. Just one person does it on Zebak and P3, and that's it. Like, it doesn't matter, right? It depends if you're ranging or maging Zebak. If you're maging Zebak, then there's not really any... Sorry, if you're ranging Zebak, there's not really any need for the Scepter. It's kind of useless for the rest of the raid, but... Because you're gonna want the Bone Dagger for Baba and Kephri. Anyway, that's like up to you. I think there's any other tech I could bring here besides Spellbook Swap. I would rather not bring Spellbook Swap until I get the Master Combats, so I can have my Thralls last a little bit longer. I've been lazy on doing the combats, and I don't really care about them. Would be nice to have a few extra seconds on the Thralls, but somewhat irrelevant. I guess we descend more. We do raids fast so that when we come outside we can AFK at the bank. So nice. Oops, that's not what I meant to do in the slightest. Oh no. Disaster raid. I double click the ranger that are moving. We've gone back to not losing our marbles. Let's go. A reasonable monkey room. Don't kill me. Blood Fury, please help. Are you kidding me? I got scammed by the RNG rock. Ow. No! I got tilted. Mess up the cycle. I don't know why I tried to move 2 there. I was fine moving just 1 and repositioning that way. There's no need to ever move 2 to reposition to the other side. Pain. I shouldn't have potted. Be back. I need to use the bathroom. Second I clicked that combat, I realized I need the bathroom. Okay. Now we pot. I'm gonna remove cave background. Shoveling? Did I not grab a hammer? Must have forgotten. Nope. If I forget anything like that? Nope. That's it. Oh my god, I just did that. I can't believe I just did that. Well, obviously, I am not gonna bone dagger at 30 HP. So wait 2 ticks there, but whatever. Wait 1 tick after this Fang, or just move? If it's a melee, just move 1 or wait a tick again. Slow Shadow, do 4 hits, wait 1 tick. Remove 1 like that. Do a 2 to 1 until the Slow Shadow. And the Slow Shadow, do 2 more hits. Include the Slow Shadow itself. Back to 2 to 1 until the Slow Shadow. No Bone Dagger slow. No, Bone Dagger is slow. Next week, apparently. Should be soon. Yeah, like next week soon. That's not like this week soon, but I didn't have piety on for that one. "32! My leg! My leg!" Is it because I'm bone daggering late? I wonder if that's what it is. It means I should ignore the melee for a sec to bone dagger it while spiking up. I wonder if that's what it is. I noticed the bone dagger rolls a 0 when I'm noodling on the melee. Yeah, it should be next week. 3 AM in Japan. Hell yeah. Playing RuneScape from Japan. Assume the ping is pretty bad there. No Asian servers. Didn't know OSRS is Asian players, yeah. It's got a lot of weebs. Not that many Asian players. Fortunately, very different. All markers? I do not. I mean, there's only a few. Yeah, I did have one there, but... am I gonna reach it there? But I ended up removing it because, I mean, I can just memorize it. If I can memorize a tile marker, I won't really use it. Like, for example, I don't really need this one. Haven't used that one either. Oh, slow. Well, 4 Akka as well. Not the greatest raid. 4-minute Baba. 3 mirror puzzle. Oof, this is a sad raid. A 38-minute raid. I'm on the kind of like, I would rather not use tile markers if I didn't have to, personally. I mean, yeah, but I'd rather not. I would still rather have to explain stuff more than, what's it called? Than have my screen look like a rainbow, personally. And I'll be honest, I've had more people ask about tile markers than what I do with them. There's so many people who are like, what are those tile markers for, rather than... Or they'll see the tile markers, they'll see exactly how I play, and they won't know that the tile markers are for that purpose. So like, it doesn't really matter either way, whether I have them or not. Like, people will see the tile markers and they'll be like, oh, what are those for? Or they'll see me trap the ranger using the tile markers, and they're gonna be like, oh, how do you trap the ranger? It's like, well, you just move the tile markers in a set order. Pretty much it. But, you know, it's like, at the end of the day, you still have to explain when to use the tile markers and stuff. Doesn't really matter either way. And I can just ping the tile. Most importantly, I can just ping the tile when I'm explaining to someone. Like, I can say, oh, I move here and then move there or whatever. Whenever I teach someone new a raid, I make them join the party. If they don't join the party, I'm not teaching them. I'm not trying to explain through voice where a tile is. Right there to the east of that red spot, that's like left to the yellow spot. Like, no, just ping the freaking tile. I'm not. So that's what the ping is for also. If someone asks questions about where like a tile is or what it's used for, I just ping the tile and explain. Easier that way anyway. Directions from an old farmer. I like to think of it as like bad CSGO callouts. He's right there, you don't see him? What the fuck does right there mean? He's right there. You just go right there, man. No, don't. Ah, it burns. I didn't proc it. I'm a dental receptionist. I have the day off today, though. Think playing CS helped in terms of click accuracy? Maybe, but I was already pretty accurate to start with. In terms of like click accuracy and stuff like that. I don't think RuneScape particularly requires like very accurate clicks. More like well-timed clicks, which I don't think CS helps with too much. Oh my god, how did I dodge everything? I'm gonna run that one, I don't care. Not losing that tick. But I mean, I can see like someone who's like very inaccurate to start with. It would help, yeah. Doesn't hurt. Aim labbing a little bit, or Kovac, or whatever people use. She has a lot of different skills that don't really apply. Click accuracy could be a thing, but RuneScape is pretty generous on click accuracy, I would say. Like maybe Vardorvis pre-update might have been like an exception to like click accuracy. But you could always like right click to, you know, have 100% accuracy, just like this, you know. 540s all the way? Yeah. I always do just like the highest I can handle. I would never do a lower drop rate. There would be no motivation to get like a 4% expert mode. Or whatever. 300s give. Should I grind out low? No. I mean, do you need the money? I assume you want the money, right? I would say just keep doing it. If you can consistently clear those 460s, do them. Keep doing them. I see no harm. You're an iron? You need the drops, then definitely don't. Definitely don't downgrade. I'm surprised you could do 460 though. Very impressive. Do you have a shadow or something and just no cares? Like Shadow and Fang, maybe like missing some Misori or something? Or you're just a based... Just a based Iron Man. Just based. Depends, of course it depends how efficient it is, right? And like, if your 460s are taking like 55 minutes, I'd probably just say like do like a 400 that takes like 30 minutes. But do your most efficient raid. If 460s are your most efficient, then do that. And also, like, on the fun aspect, if you don't have fun doing an easier 400, even if it's more efficient, then at the end of the day, you should do the 460, you know? Whatever keeps you more motivated. And since you need the shadow, especially go for a higher drop rate. I know both for Zebak. You can look at the FAQ in the video description. TLDR, not much worse to mage. Save a shit ton of inventory spaces. Nope, it's got off parade. I didn't switch too early because level 3 is slow. Bakways plus blood spawn. You're just gonna have to. You can run through those spawns. You can run through the spawns. Don't be too afraid to like maneuver around them. Or like right through them. You're just gonna have to drag them away and then kind of like run through and then drag up and down and repeat. This should probably go away. Oh shit. Paying attention. I clicked the thing and I was like, oh, it procced. Who would dare proc the boss? Not even me. You just have to drag them away from the opening if you're using the openings and not always skipping. And then you're just gonna have to run through the opening. Do that a few times. Knowing it is what it is. It's not a very common scenario. Probably just getting unlucky. If it's happening to you multiple times. I don't personally wave skip, so I would just drag them away from the opening. Like up and down, and then run through the opening, and then drag them up and down again if they're still alive. wish the melee throw could help me with this. I just wish thralls would work at all for that, I'll be honest. And then the melee throw would max. Obviously it would make the raid easier though. I don't complete the run? Maybe 1 in 4 or 5 times, so we're talking like full wipes. If we're talking... I usually die at like Zebak or some dumb mistake at Akka. It might be less. If we're talking about me resetting because I'm tilted, probably like 1 in like 3 or 4. Like I'll often leave after a really bad monkey room, or I make some dumb mistake at Kephri that'll cost me like 30-40 seconds, but that's more of a personal tilt thing. I could easily complete the raid anyway, but I'm always down for like, I don't know why, but resetting a full raid if something went wrong, just out of like a weird like perfectionist kind of like mindset. Like I'm okay not being perfect at the raid, but like when I go below my own standard that I'm looking for, I'll just reset the raid. That's how I am. I will reset Olmhead if I die. I will do it. I'm also the type of person that if I die in Mutadial, there's at least a 50-50 of me leaving the raid. And at CM solos, like, I will actually just leave. Lose so many ticks on last roll. Last row. Better than being dead though, right? Never purple. Oh, I didn't even adrenaline. Purple's what average a day? I don't always raid that much a day, so I don't know. Probably not that many. Like when I nerded out, like a lot of raids, probably like 2 a day. I don't really do that many anymore. If I'm like nerding out, like, yeah, like 10 raids, then on average I'll get 2. If I do more, I can get more, but I usually don't do more than 4 or 5 raids a day. No. How much time save would make us? I have no clue. But from what I've seen, my raids have been faster about 2 minutes using it rather than not using it. Or 5 from 5:25 to 5:40s. Oh my god, I messed up the cycle. The Blowtorva, yeah, I like it. Let's just do a traditional red X. Since I'm really low. Yeah. We'll do the 5-tick red X for a little bit. I went in a tick on too fast. That's a good thing about the cycle. You could always do a regular red X in case like you don't really have the HP to spare to tank that occasional one hit. I might die here. I'm so done. I have a hard time doing the regular 6-tick after doing the 5-tick for so long. I keep going under too early. There is a wipe. I mean, all stemmed from that mistake I did in the beginning. I was getting a little unlucky on getting hit. What did I put in the death coffer? I put harmonized in it. Put a harmonized orb. And also, I think also in DT2 release I put some Sears Ring, which had really good value. Sears Ring, harmonized orbs. At any given point, you can there's almost always like an item you can put in for like 50% or more value though, which is nice, like Z Knights or unfinished Furies or something like that. I hate Venom. What a memer. Obviously, I'm really low HP, so I can't, that is suboptimal. Running on top of that. That is suboptimal. Please slow shadow. Oop. Instant baboon spawn. So toxic. Not too slow for a no bone dagger. We'll take it. You guys hear when I crack my neck like that? It's pretty loud. Is this not the best elevator music? Okay, now I know. You can do like one more hit after the HP bar goes full. I wasn't risking it though, on the timing. How's it going, Ecliptic? It is indeed going. Forgot about that being a possibility. That could have been dead. Yeah, I probably would have Voidwaker instead. Voidwaker would be huge for like Baba, Kephri, and whatnot. I think I would still use Bow and Dagger. I like it. It's got good value. If it was a team raid, I'd probably bring ZCB. Be nice. But it's not that big of a deal. Too much Baldur's Gate, man. I would still bring Magus Ring. Like, I'm sure his DCB is a little bit better if you're using Adrenaline for Akka, for having it for Shadows and teams, but I would still bring Magus Ring for, personally, Akka, Zebak, and Wardens. Mostly because I'm also not ranging Zebak anyway. But if I was ranging Zebak, I would use Lightbearer and ZCB. Be quite a bit better. Save me a few, you know, maybe like 20-30 seconds, I'm guessing. Maybe not. Maybe like 10 to 20 seconds. But personally, I would still rather Mage Zebak for the extra space. In my opinion, if you're doing solos, if you're not sweating your Voidwaker switches for Akka and like speccing it right out of memory or speccing the shadows, then you're not even making use of the Lightbearer, so why use it for Akka? Instead, you should use the Magus Ring, which is simply TPS without any effort. And it's like pretty close. In teams, it's a little bit different because you have ZCB and ZCB is easy to use on the shadows, but Zebak, ZCB is good there, like really good, so fine. But at that point, you should be ranging it anyway, because range with Lightbearer doesn't really affect its DPS because no one's bringing a Venom'd ring that's trolling. But if you're maging it, Magus Ring is quite a bit of extra DPS that again is like no effort to do. Well, not like ZCB really requires effort, but and then for Warden P3, I believe someone did the math, and if you spec with ZCB like what, like 4 times at P3, it's worth it. But again, I don't really know. I feel like that's not really that worth it. The light bearer is for like warden P2. Like having it for BDS is pretty huge. There's a lot of time. Again, I don't know how accurate that math was of like Magus being like equivalent to basically using specs. I did not mean to click there, but Saul Goodman. All I have to say. And duo show you 2 down, 3. If you have a shadow, 3 down is probably okay. I need to drink this or I will die. Three down is probably worth it if you have a shadow. And 445s. If you don't have a shadow, it's probably not worth it. But you should still DDS. The DDS is still helpful even if you're going for a 3 down, because the length of your 3 down matters. If your 3rd down takes like 10 hits instead of 1 hit, that's a pretty big deal, you know? A lot of people, like, I don't know why, but they forget that part, and they're like, oh, if I could 3 down with a rapier, why would I use it instead of DDS? I'm like, because your 3rd down's gonna take 9 less hits. How's it going, Lawrence? Congrats on the kit. Also, if you guys aren't gonna bother to bring ZCB, then I would just use like the Magus like in place, because the Void Waker actually doesn't make it like doesn't match up enough. Like using a light bearer and like Void Wake camping is worse than Magus. Like Void Wake as your DPS spec. Don't get me wrong, DPS is still good on it, but Altar for sure is not really that worth. Reasoning being that it simply isn't enough of a gain over light bearer to be worth the slot. It is maybe a very slight gain, but it's not worth bringing it because you're gonna want light bearer for P2 or the DDS anyway. Yeah, like Magus is really hard to surpass 5%. But Altar is more questionable. Mostly because Void Wake has some like more niche things going on about it, like for Kephri using at the end is a lot of DPS because you're saving yourself like dung specials, which end with a lot of DPS loss. So it's more like a uptime thing on. It's not just like comparing DPS on paper. And if you're using it even more correctly, and you're like checking when the dung last occurred and like timing it with the dung, you can even save yourself a fang hit or two, which is pretty important. That's DPS that's unaccessed normally, but again, we're probably talking like 10 seconds of Kephri if you were to be like super nerdy about that stuff. Is there no save tile for this? We'll have to skip it. I think the save tile was like all the way over here. Direct collision. Misclick, take a 38 real quick. If you're wondering why I'm doing a accursed sceptre, it's just to redrain it because it's been a few minutes. Figured why not? Not really using the other adrenaline anyway. Or maybe I could do it at enrage with the copium that enrage potentially resets his mage level, which I don't think it does. It certainly feels like it because it feels tanky at the end. Assume Zebak probably regens one mage level also. Oops. Then I'll use one more adrenaline. I don't know, somewhere. Doesn't really matter. Am I excited at sailing? Neutral, don't really care. To be honest, don't really care if it comes in or not. Very neutral. Like, I'll train it. I don't mind training more skills to max. Sailing sounds okay. At the end of the day, like, it doesn't really excite me. It's better. I think it's better than warding was, at least. I don't think old school really needs a new skill as much as people think it does, but not particularly opposed to it having a new skill. I just don't think it needs it. It's good for having more player base, though. That is true. Will not deny that. It's very appealing on a marketing standpoint to have it. An old school game still getting a lot of updates, like a whole new skill, you know. Sure. I mean, new players are always good for the game, right? But don't you bring Ava? No. I do not. I use webweaver because it doesn't use ammo. And I just pick up my dragon arrows after. I'll be honest, people just need, especially people who are like crying about a new update. You know what you could do if there's no high-end updates? You can play a different game. I will agree that like ToA is not in depth, and I wish, and it has the potential to be in depth with very little dev time. But if you don't like the updates the game is providing, just simply vote by not playing the game. You know, like if you're bored of the game because no high-end content to your definition is coming out, just don't play the game. Posture? I don't know what you're talking about. I will complain that ToA has the ability to be extremely in-depth with like no effort dev time wise in comparison to the other things they do. But I'll just not play if I get bored. Which part you're having nerves about? Is it triple Jad? Triple Jad, I'll be honest, just do a little bit of Leviathan and you'll realize that there are so many faster things in the game that triple Jad, in comparison, all of punishing is a joke in terms of the timing wise. So if you have the confidence in knowing that it's easy, like in comparison timing wise, it helps. Like trips for sure, yeah. Like I'll be honest, just do. I mean, you could also do the beta world thing where you go on the beta worlds and you practice triple Jad, which is fine. But remember, triple Jad, you have 3 ticks. That's 1.8 seconds. That is 3 times the amount you need for Leviathan. It's all about the nerves. It's distinct actual difficulty. Remember, actual difficulty of triples is easy. All nerves. all nerves. Just assure yourself that it's easy, and it will be. It is easy. You can do it. You've done harder things, like Leviathan, Zebak level 4. You know, there are a lot of easier things than Triple Jad in the game. Or, sorry, harder things than Triple Jad in the game. And it will be easy. Also, simple, here's another simple thing. Just pre-brew. Start Triple Jad at 100. Even if you mess up, you won't die. 115, sorry. You won't die. Simple things to remember. Even if you mess up, you won't die. But remember, it's easy. I'm not... like, telling yourself it's easy will make it easy. Simple as that. Helps with the nerves a lot. For me, at least. I'm like, this is a joke. I could do it. Even if I die like 50 times, I just keep telling myself, this is a joke. And then I'll do it. You know? Having that confidence is a skill, you know? To just do it. No purple. Never purple. Like, I don't think it would take much effort for Jagex to make updates for the high level community, which bothers me because I feel like the game has room for it to grow without much effort or dev time. And here we are. But that's a separate argument for like they should focus their updates around high level. I don't think it necessarily needs to be focused. I just think it wouldn't take much effort to make good ones out of the content we already have. There's a lot of like assets you could, as much as I don't like reusables, you can use reusable assets. Add some very small animations that don't take as much effort. You don't need to like move models around. But that's fine. That's a separate thing. Like I think most evocations I make, you can essentially reuse assets to make them work. It's just programming the actual mechanics would be the majority of your dev time. If I'm not mistaken, art and animations is a huge part of dev time. And I've always like kind of designed my newer invocations with not having to do art. You know, like you deal with like making new animations really. Or at least they would be very simple animations. But yeah, the majority of their creators are not exactly like high-end PVMers, so they probably don't know what would constitute like in-depth skill, you know? That might very well be the case. It's the second time I've done that today. It would be nice if, you know, the Jagex players were good players to begin with. It's like a Final Fantasy thing, though. Very few devs are actually good at the games they play. Misclicked? Man, I've misclicked enough. That is now worth to sun again. I mean, I could just bone dagger anyway and see what happens, and then hopefully I don't mess up the red X, but I've been messing up the red X a lot. Standard red X. Now. We'll do some traditional red X for now, since we're a little bit on the lower HP side. Then we'll go back to a regular 5-tick cycle. Not bad. It was worth it to Bone Dagger. See, Bone Dagger increases your DPS by about like a fifth. Or technically a little under that. Red X, normal 6 take cycle makes you lose your damage by about a 6. But the thing is, you only Red X when you like basically want to negate all the damage. I think it's worthwhile to always Bone Dagger if you're like 40 HP. Do like a regular Red X when you're like low and need to heal, and then once you heal back up, go back to a 5 tick and see what happens. And it's better to feel it out on demand. Like there I did it because I was like below 1 shot. And once I got some HP. I know Mod Bruno is good. He's like the first mod that comes to my mind of like good player. Nice 34 max hit from the Bone Dagger. What kind of irks me is that they found that we can cheese by axe skipping, and my guess is they didn't release Awaken because they wanted to address all the cheeses before they release it, and then they left axe skipping as a thing anyway for the Awakened Vordoris. It's kind of weird. Although, to be fair, that's really like the only boss you can really cheese out of the Awakened versions. Not sure how they could patch it. I mean, they could just make running over the axes hurt you. Just like, you know, like poison. You know how like when you run over like Zarpus, poison hits you? Probably do that, but oh. Ranged. Only a 2. Nice. Just do that for the axes as well. Make it so if you run over them, they just hit you. Yeah, they did it for Sepulchre already, so. Axe skipping has no depth, in my opinion. Axe skipping is just simply... I should have moved a little bit to... Now these two agiles are just kind of there. 3... Is 3 agiles really worth chinning? I don't think so. I guess it is. Because then they don't have to think about movement and actually dodging. You remove having to look at the other quadrants. I would guess that axe skipping removes stuff more than it adds. Probably not worth there. I mean, it sucks because if you have your blood torva and they remove axe skipping, people who don't have it are going to be very upset. They're going to be like, why is Vardorvis literally like twice as hard? I'm on the chaotic side of do it anyway. Like, I don't care if they resend my Torva. But no, not many people agree with that. Especially people who already struggled with axe skipping Vardorvis. Think about how many more orbs it would take to do a non-axe skip Vardorvis. Those same people. They'll be so upset. I'm all for it, but that's a terrible decision to make. Like, not in terms of like ethical or anything, no, it's just a bad decision to make to do that. How's it going, Bossman, by the way? Oh yeah, sanity management. I would like Jagex just to take the firm stance of, we don't care if it was easier on release, we're making it harder now. I would be very happy if Jagex took that stance. Is it gonna piss a hell of a lot of people off? Yeah. But if they were very firm about that stance from the beginning, then everyone would have been rushing to do Blood Torva when it theoretically could have been the easiest, you know? That could be good for the market. The lower levels or selling their Awakener orbs. And then I'd also be down for them saying, I think it's too hard, and then rebalance. And then no one would ever know what their thought process is, which would be great. Because I feel like right now, Jagex will only make things easier, they will never make anything harder. And I feel like I'm fairly confident in that. I would like for me to not be confident in that. I would like for it to be a mixed bag. Sometimes it'll be harder, sometimes it'll be easier. And they don't care which or which. Make the community secretive about cheeses. you can't hold a secret for that long, to be honest. And if you are, then who cares? Then I wouldn't mind for there to be kind of like a scramble to find out how someone does something. Like if you imagine the world record for like ToA was like, I think the last one was black, like 10 minutes faster than, or like 5 minutes faster than what it is now. It would be a fun scramble to see what the hell that guy was doing. Or maybe perhaps some drama saying the guy just cheats, but... I mean, we are getting better and better at the game, but I feel like that's a little bit of a cop-out in designing, like, more in-depth mechanics, you know? More in-depth, like, invocations and stuff. I think they could do it. I feel like honestly, I could do it for the invocations, but... Like, did you guys actually think the Vardorvis, like, Osu minigame was actually going to be in the game? With the current mechanics? No, it's somewhat innovative. It shows that they don't have to restrict themselves to, like, you know, like, just a tick system. There are things they can do, like, in the game's engine, like that we don't know about. That we wouldn't think are feasible. But even sticking to what we currently have in the game, I'm pretty sure it's possible. There's a lot of things they could do to ToA, for example, using the current game mechanics to make it a lot more in-depth. I feel like the player base is getting better, but not to the point where it's literally impossible to make fun things with the system. You can make plenty of fun things with this system. For example, besides the shadows explosion, right? There's no, and I guess keepback, there's no actual telegraphed attack that Akka does, for example, that actually makes you dodge. I wouldn't mind for him to have a dodgeable attack. like movement wise, right? Just something simple like a movement based attack, like stabbing you with a spear and you just have to move left or right instead of his regular melee. That'd be cool. Like Vardor's axes, if they weren't skippable, would have been great. But no, they're skippable. And they don't have to be a square, you know? They could be like a 2x1. This is a very simple move a little left or right when you see him do it. Or maybe his swipe could be a 3x1 and you just have to dodge backwards, right? And then he could have a stab, you could have a swipe. Think about that. What if Akka's melees, he had two different animations? A swipe, you have to dodge backwards, or a stab, where you have to dodge left or right. Simple, easy to understand, visually clarifying, and yet mechanically engaging. It could be an invocation you turn on only. Make it worthwhile. Here's the thing, you would think that butterfly no longer works, right? In terms of he's staying on melee, but what if all of the damage would be dodgeable? So now you choose to either butterfly or actually have to dodge the melee attacks. Trade-off. You can make the invocation 20 points, let people decide. You would then have to deal with the DPS difference between mage, of course, and the other phases. Separate issue. But what if you were like an Iron Man who can't butterfly or shouldn't butterfly because you don't have a shadow? They would be very happy. They would have to play better than they do now if they want to make it worth it. But now you're giving like other people a way to essentially 0 damage to melee phase that don't have the gear to, as long as they put in the effort and skill. I think that's a good idea. And then people with shadow have the luxury of still butterflying if they want to take the L on the invocations. The time loss between like having shitty range switchers would be, you know, like a thing to consider, of course. But I think even making people go through that thought process, and if it's worth it for them, is part of the in-depth part of an MMO with progressing gear. I think butterfly is like not even that in-depth anyway of like the game's mechanics. Like whatever. Shit, I was supposed to do my sceptre earlier. But regardless, like, you can make that, if you want to do things with the game's engine, don't restrict it to that thought process, like adding that would ruin butterfly. You can make it so that he only does the attack when he's in melee range, you know? So like, people who are butterflying don't have to deal with it. And then people who people who aren't butterflying are having to deal with it if they want to, but the reward for dealing with it is no damage from the melee, right? There's a lot of ways they can design it based on their choices to make it worth it or not worth it. Yeah, like if they wanted to force rolls, like with just this year, they can. They can make it so that the damage, the chip damage in the boss is lowered by some formula of someone who has like the highest defenses in the raid currently, if they wanted to do something like that. Like imagine nightmares, like little range attacks dealt less damage if someone was wearing like armor above 300 or something, like 300 defensive stats. They could do it, or they would incentivize Team Nightmare. It'd be nice. I don't have to think so close-minded about it. I don't know if they want to force rolls. Based on ToA, it doesn't look like they want to do rolls, which is more of a design decision, but IMO rolls are fun if they want to make team stuff. See, the thing that's cool about the invocation system, I really don't like that they haven't utilized it. You can have invocations that force rolls, and then invocations... and then otherwise, people could just not have them on for solos. There's no reason to make it so that solos, the goals have pretty much every invocation other than like medic on. There could be team-related invocations that are only efficient to have in teams, like medic, right? But that aren't aids. Like an invocation that simply is like chip damage is now variable based on the highest armor value of a member present on the team. And then it could be like higher if you're wearing like garbage gear, the chip damage, or it could be lower if you're wearing, you know, like Justy or a Torva or something. Or an Ellie, you know, like... that would be a nice incentive for shields. And then they could have like a whole like threshold chart in like the wiki or something, like, oh, if you're wearing a DFS or like some crazy shield, the whole team takes like 3 less chip damage. It's huge. Yeah, it does help. It does create gatekeeping and elitism. Not gonna lie about that. But these are always optional invocations to have on, which is like huge. Lost Ark doesn't have any optional like things. It's either you have normal mode or hard mode, or hell mode, I guess. Normal mode, hard mode, and hell mode. That's all you have. Opinion, that level of gatekeeping is a lot better than what Lost Ark is. Lost Ark is, people won't like do like a normal with you if you're not like above certain high level and don't have like a, you know, a 7/7 ability stone or 9/7 ability stone, or well, 7/7 is basic, but like a 9/7 ability stone and shit like that. If you don't have like a certain card set, blah blah blah. And that's just like a yes or no thing, but now that the invocation system is out, I think they have the room to make nice in-depth invos that people can theoretically gatekeep around, but most people probably won't because like not gonna have like every invocation on or whatever. think the balancing of drop rates would be the bigger issue. Because if you make all these in-depth invos that are like rewarding to have on, you're just gonna have some crack player with every single invocation on potentially, right? Until they can't handle it. But I think that would be fun too. Someone who can handle like all of it. That's the thing though, like it would be fun to get to the point where you're like overpowered drop rate. And at the end of the day, they can always just nerf the drop rate slightly if they wanted to make a room for these in-depth invos and just say, look, if you want to hit your old drop rates, you gotta add more of these invos now. And they could always like make easy invos at the same time that simply don't interact, or they can make invocations that are like uninteractable with each other at the same time. Like, you know how they have invos that you can only have on if you have another invo on, like Insanity? You need overclocked 1 and 2. They could always make invos that if you have this on, you can't have this on. That could be a good way to balance it too. Like, imagine if you run this new invocation for Akka that makes this melee's dodgeable, you can't have keep back on. Or you can't have double trouble on, incompatible with whatever. That's the thing, Ecliptic. I don't think that would be the case if they actually put more thought into it. That is what it's like right now. That is what it's like right now. I think there is potential for there to be room to think outside of that. I think there is room first to expand it where there's an optimal solo and then an optimal team. Like, for example, although Medic is turbo aids, Medic is an example of an invocation that, although really annoying to run, can be optimal for teams and is simply not optimal for solos. Now, they can make an invocation that's not so aids and like only team friendly, like having a tank role, right? As an example. I forgot to thrall. Or maybe having set spots that people have to stand on, and obviously you can't just do that in solo because you're one person. Like, imagine this Insanity arena. Like, you see how it slowly chips from north to south? What if they made it chip in like cracks where you have like this area and then someone has this area, someone has this area. And if someone isn't standing there, like the other areas get more lighting or something, that could be like a team thing that's just not doable in solos. But thoughts on ToA being team friendly in general, not just Medic? In general, I don't know about in general. I think, well, the way I would like ToA to be designed is you have an optimal solo invocation setup, and then you have an optimal team invocation setup that simply is not doable in solo. I would not mind for Jagex to simply say, look, these invocations, if you take them solo, you're going to have a bad time. And then teams, if you take these invocations and you're a team, you're going to have a bad time. These are like better in solo, but can be doable. You know, I wouldn't mind that. And then you can obviously, if you want to incentivize teams, simply make the team invocations slightly better, or make them easier in terms of like rewarding the team. Like, imagine the theoretical invocation. Your team takes chip damage variable to the tankiest player in the room at the moment. Like, whatever, they can word it however they want. You could be taking less damage as long as someone takes the L on taking Justiciar, or, you know, what's another good example? Like, But yeah, let's say like a shield slot. Like if you like break a certain shield threshold, like imagine, what are we at right now? I have an alley in my bank. Imagine there's an invocation that did chip damage based on the highest defensive stat. You see how I'm at like 330s? Imagine breaking like 370 or like 360, lowered the whole team's chip damage by like 2 or like 3 or whatever number they want to do. That'd be great. And then in solos, this would be terrible because I'm not going to wear an Ellie the whole raid. But in teams, you know, one person can wear an Ellie. Wearing Ellie is not that bad. Like shield slot would be actually a good idea, actually, now that I think about it. Having one person like be forced to wear a shield slot to like beef up their tankiness. Or about 400 they want to use just this year. What is just the with Ellie? I mean, obviously you don't need to use Ellie, you could use like a DFS as an example. This is like a cheap. What is this? This is like 400. Imagine like having any defensive stat over 400 made your team take like way less damage or something. That'd be nice. And then teams, I mean in solos, like no one is gonna go out of their way to wear just the DFS that's trolling. Double Trouble, I don't like that Double Trouble is not very team compatible. Very annoyed about that one. But if you wanted to make an example, Double Trouble is an example of a solo friendly invocation that's not that great in teams. Like obviously people just do the memory skip, it's just DPS loss, you know, nothing wrong with that. It lacks depth in teams. So in terms of that, I wouldn't mind it for... I love Double Trouble though, like as an invocation, I love it. But yeah, these invocations don't need to be so close-minded. You know, you can have like team-friendly, solo-friendly invocations that aren't medic. You could have invocations that are like doable in teams and not doable in solos, which I would like more of. Then you incentivize teams, but then maybe just make them not compatible with our existing invocations, so someone doesn't, so teams just don't go to like 700 and like solos are stuck at 500. Yeah, like Medic's team friendly. Everyone knows Medic is AIDS, especially solo. Solo shouldn't be viable for raids. I think on a business perspective, they have to make solo because like there's way too many people playing solo, like me. But the raid doesn't have enough depth, I think, at the moment to argue that teams should be better. You know, I would like it for it to be like that, but like what the hell are these? These are useless. People do this for a challenge because there's nothing else to challenge them. People do this because they're trolling and don't know that Pathfinder's better. So then, yeah. What the hell is need less help for? It is useless. Does anyone actually run try again or persistence? No, they go softcore, hardcore, or nothing. That's it, right? So like we have so many wasted invocations. There. Chambers is essentially 5%. I love this pet. That is so sick. Reading from Venezuela. Readings, my brother. Yeah, like the definition of a raid is like keeps coming in together. Here's a somewhat simpler way to make team-friendly Baba, like a team invo Baba. You have all 3 kinds of monkeys coming in together. Baba will always focus the person with the highest melee defense. So you have a tank, and then you have people handling monkeys coming into the room, you know? I think that's a very simple way to do it. You just have monkeys coming in from the previous puzzle room. You have like a mage, and then the mage will focus, you know, the person with the highest magic defense. And then the range will focus someone with the highest range defense. You know, like that's a way to do it. Incentivize teams, and then someone solo would just have to kind of just take the L and like have to deal with all the monkeys, which is fine. Like you would just have to blowpipe like 2 of them and then like bang the last one, but it would be easier in teams. Yeah, I'm Chinese. I think you're talking about the noun definition, Roman. The noun definition is like waves of things coming in at you, and then the verb one, to conduct a raid on, is typically with plural, you know, like you and others raid. You don't by yourself raid. The noun raid, yeah, is like waves are like you're being raided on, is like a lot of things are coming at you. To raid is like multiple people or multiple things coming in. You're performing the raid on, so like ideally it should be teams. Anyway, that's like really gives a shit, but I would like for it to be more team friendly, or like team, not team friendly, team incentivized would be a better way, without making it unviable to solo, obviously. But I just think invocations are wasted. Their potential fully wasted. Why would I care? Oh, I mean, I only solo because there is no incentive to do teams, right? Like, what am I have every invocation on. Where does it matter for here for me to have a teammate, you know? Why would you ever team if solo has any viability at all? Because right now, here's the thing. Teams aren't better pretty much at all. They're like the same or maybe 2 to 3%. For me, it needs to be at least like 10 to 20% better for me to do teams. Would that still make solo unviable? No. Would I still solo? Yeah, but if someone asked me to do like a 450 team, I would actually consider it if it was on par with like, you know, like a 500. I'm just saying, like, right now, the difference between them is like nothing. So like, obviously I'm just gonna do solos. And yeah, the main incentive at this point for teams is like hardcore, I guess. Having to deal with hardcore, like you can't die in solo, teammates can die. Doing Zebak from my first cape, should I attack from the middle tile or to be safe? And you should attack from the middle tile. It's very generous on the timing. I would just do it. There's nothing wrong with if you don't think you can, occasionally if you don't think you have the timing to not do it, especially when you're running the healers later on, because the 4 safe spots don't even work after that point. But I would say yes, do it. Why not? I think it's easy. I think it'll make your run overall smoother anyway. You don't have to deal with as many sets. It wouldn't be enforced yet. Incentivized is much different. Like, you can have a bunch of mechanics that someone is able to do solo, but it's just like annoying. And not on the same degree as medic. Medic is just like that 4 times more annoying. Quiet prayers could be that theoretical, like, you know, whoever has the highest defense tanks, and then the raid does like 20% more. Sure. And then if they have like X amount of threshold of tank stats, maybe the team actually takes less. Sure. Sure. The sub 35 and 500 OD. Yeah, I don't really use these. I mean, I don't really care. What else could they make for teams? Like the dodgeable Akka, I think is a good design. Like if the melee attacks were like a 3x1 swipe, you could dodge backwards, or a 2x1 stab and you could dodge left or right. That would be fun. What if Akka uses... You can make an invocation where Akka teleports behind you and then does like a big attack, like a massive like 2x3 swipe, and you have to like... And as soon as you see the teleport, like you have to dodge like forward. You know, like toward where Akka is teleporting from. I think that would be cool, having like stuff like that. And like that melee, let's say, theoretically is like something he does whenever he strikes any attack. Which of course like doesn't matter because you're butterflying, but could be cool when you're dealing with like his other phases and stuff. Yeah, of course. I know that invocation by itself is like easy. I'm just saying as an example, it'd be like it'd be an example like having a tank Vertex. You could also make it so like Babas, or just in general the whole raid aggro's to the highest defensive stat person instead of having the lowest HP. You could have it also make it so all bosses target the highest defensive stat, and it's like different per boss, you know, like other than Zebak, of course, because like Zebak attacks everyone right now. But like imagine for like Akka, you have his mage phase, he attacks someone with the highest mage defense, his melee attacks someone with the highest melee defense. You know, could be a decent way to have like a tank role, sort of. And maybe he only targets them solo or something. Yeah, people will still solo no matter what. If you have incentives for team, you're still gonna have someone like me who will solo anyway. It's just you kind of want to make it appealing to do teams, I think is important. Because right now it's not really appealing to do a team, like if you're good. Like, why the hell will I do a team raid? There's like... The only reason I would do a team raid is for hardcore, but I don't care. I don't care at least, but like I might care if you added in like, you know, 3-4 more invos that are like team friendly and not solo friendly. Eternal boots, look at them. Disgusting. Eternal boots. Is ground slime attack every attack but different patterns you dodge? You know what idea that reminds me of Ecliptic? Since you talk about Lost Ark, I would not mind it for, let's say, Akka or Warden to have a mechanic similar to Vulcan in Lost Ark, where he, like, if you remember Vulcan, is his name Vulcan? The Minotaur guy? Vulcan, Lost Ark. Yeah, Vulcan. He has that attack where he like holds his hilt and everyone needs to get close and not attack. And if people attack and deal too much damage, he'll just like clear out the whole room. I would not mind that being an actual mechanic. I think that's a fun mechanic that occasionally happens. And then you just like, you flame the shit out of the guy who attacked, you know, or stagger too much. I think that one creates a lot of funny memes. Will people be very mad? Yes. Arena breaks are not used often. Insanity is an example of an arena break, but I would like the arena break to be more creative and have actual mechanics that use a set pattern of area, and arena breaks can be controlled. That would be cool. Like, you know, the dung is kind of like an arena break, sort of, but there's no attacks that actually like matter in terms of like having the dung like be a interesting thing. Like, Leviathan has technically an arena creator, and then it has the roar attack, so you can kind of create your own arena. I think that's cool as hell. That's not done in ToA. They don't do any white mechanics. By the way, I wouldn't mind white mechanics in ToA at all. The only white mechanic I can think of for sure is the shadow attack from Akka. That's sort of a wipe, although it's dodgeable, is the only thing about it. Because that's the whole point of the softcore thing, right? I would like to be incentivized to do softcore if I'm getting like destroyed by the white mechanics. What's another mechanic from Vaulton I would like to see? Like, what if Akka did a charge and you had to like make him charge into the shadows? That would decentivize Butterfly, or you would have to time Butterfly in a way that he rams into his shadow. And you would have to time Butterfly well, you know, instead of just like going into cycle whenever you want. I like to use Vaulton as a great example of like things they can pull from it in ToA's RS. I haven't done too many of the other bosses though. Yes, give me mechanics that make me voice chat. That would be good. Coordination. And then, you know, you can have like the tank thing so that they can always pull it. Like Akka's melee, it's weird because Akka's melee is theoretically dodgeable because you can be behind the melee, right? Behind him when he melees. But in solos, that's not a thing. You can never be really behind him. And you can't dodge him from the front side, obviously, in solos. So all this creates is in solos, you get chipped, and chipped. And then in teams, you can theoretically have a tank. So Akka kind of has a tank mechanic built in on that way. But the thing is, so that's like a small incentive to do a team, is that you don't have to tank Akka, right? But that one lacks mechanical depth, which is the only sad thing about it. Which is fine, like, you have a tank mechanic. Anyway, no more rant. Should I do any more raids? How many have I done? Like 3? 4. Grab an object and shove it somewhere? Yeah. I just think at the end of the day, a lot of there is one small thing about the raids that we do in ToA and like chambers and Tbow. Pretty much there's very, very few examples where you're not hitting the boss. You are almost always hitting the boss in all the raids all the time. There's very few moments where you're not hitting a boss. Like jugs, you hit between the jugs, and you're always just hitting the boss, Isn't that like a huge design like restriction? Shouldn't they just make parts where you can't hit the boss and you have to instead do a freaking mechanic instead? And you can do the mechanic faster having certain gear or something like that. That wouldn't be a problem. But you're always hitting the boss in RuneScape. And I think that's just like very restrictive on the things that you're allowed to do in those 2 ticks. Imagine I hate to say this, but imagine if there was an invocation that I would not mind this at all. If the solves for Zebak jugs were different and you needed to push them in like a freaking 3 times before it was done. Imagine there was a 1 rock solve in Narnia northeast and your jugs are north like west, and then there are like boulders that like aren't blocking or won't help you for like blocking the safe spot, right? So in order to make the jugs hit it, you would have to freaking play pinball and go like down, right, up, or like diagonal and then diagonal. And teammates could obviously just wait at the diagonal spot, so then you can theoretically have like a zero tick loss push like down and then like that, right? And then in solos, you're just doomed. You're gonna have to push and then hit and then go and then push. Like there are some small incentives you can make that make solo viable, but make it way easier in teams. like having people at the designated push spots. Yeah, chambers, crabs, but with jugs. Obviously, you would give enough time for people to handle that mechanic, but... And you can just make, like, if you want to, make Zebak undamageable until it's solved. If you want it to be, like... If you want it to force the whole team incentive thing. I don't think that would be a good idea, but, like, you know, just as, like, a... thing you can do. Yeah. Same thing for, like, what else do we have? That's another example of hit boss no matter what. There's nowhere in RuneScape where they really reward you solving the mechanic. They always reward you for hitting the boss more. And the mechanic is always a side feature. Always. I kind of want there to be like a dark. If anyone's played like Dark Tide, although the game is like, I'll be honest, terribly managed. When they do boss fights, it's like you're holding back the horde and someone's dealing with the boss. I would like for that to be a thing. Like, that's a good incentive for like a team. You have someone like handling the boss the whole time, and then everyone else is like dealing with the onslaught of like hordes and waves coming in, you know? And then in solos, obviously, you're just gonna have to like eat shit. You can't really handle the horde and the boss unless you're like doing some creative like things. There's always room. I don't think we need to think about like the tick system being our restriction yet. I think there's a lot more room to be done to make it fun, both for teams and solos. I'm gonna run out of fire runes. Hey yo. Yeah. Sapphire Dragon Bolts are more money than a Dragon Dart? What world do we live in? I don't like this world. Oh, I think I'm gonna go play some Baldur's Gate. I need a break from RuneScape. I'll see you guys probably tomorrow, but maybe at night if I feel like playing RuneScape again. Thank you for stopping by. I had a nice rant about things we want from RuneScape. Is what it is.